this is Honey Lover Friend, where I typically curate affordable fashion to amplify the aesthetic. However, in today's video, I just wanted to take some time out to give YouTube their flowers as 2024 is coming to a close. So for a little bit of background, I was really just posting exclusively shorts, trying to just dip my toe into what YouTube is and how I want to show up on the platform. So I did that for a couple months and I found that it wasn't really working best, so I decided to pivot. At the time of me transitioning from doing beauty and makeup content to really just style and fashion content, I had 43 subscribers. And I initially came on the platform because I wanted to talk more about personal development and self-care just as a person on their healing journey. However, as life continued to life, I was just not necessarily ready, I would say, to speak to that to the fullest extent. I have actually been on a leave of absence just based on a multitude of health issues as well as tragedy and trauma throughout my family. I had experienced very public, very violent unalivings of two young people very close to my circle. And so that was really heavy on my shoulders, especially as someone who works with youth on a daily basis. The overlapping became very triggering and it just made it impossible for me to focus and function in my regular state of mind. Anxiety attacks and just a number of things, again, some other health issues that I really just needed to take the time out to focus on myself. So during that time, I also underwent surgery and kind of corrected a lot of my health issues. And then it was time for me to transition into regulating my personal life. So as a result of that, 2024 has been my most difficult chapter because I had to cut a series of people off, which actually started in about 2020. Me breaking ties off with a lot of people who were very near and dear to my heart, but really felt like they didn't keep the same energy. So it was just time to move on. I really needed to take the time to balance my life and lifestyle. And so once I completed my surgery, I was able to tap more into what's next for me. So maybe a couple months post-recovery, I was ready to just do something, anything, find something that would keep me motivated day to day. And so for as long as I can remember, I always wanted to be a YouTuber. I have been watching YouTube for, I don't know, maybe close to 2 decades. When we were watching You Love Megs and Jackie Aina, I definitely watch YouTube more than I have ever watched TV. I'm a big YouTube nerd, so behind the scenes, I'm actually studying the platform and how it works. We'll never crack the algorithm code, but I'm just always learning. Basically, if you know anything about me, anywhere and everywhere I go, I'm always going to preach YouTube, even when I don't have the personal capacity to apply myself. So I did that for this one person, and I was just there behind the scenes providing guidelines. However, when this person was in my direct space, there definitely was an energy shift. And with that energy shift, I noticed that whenever I was making an attempt to put out my content, whether I'm recording or prepping, it was always just those slick remarks and actually like blatantly laughing in my face because I think they felt like my efforts were pointless and they were so much bigger and better than I was. Ultimately, the lesson was to focus on myself. I had to make some really challenging decisions that resulted in me being completely estranged from my entire family. This is after I had already ghosted my friends all of 2020, just showing up on other platforms and realizing how unreal, how unserious these connections were. And so I'm now taking this time to be in complete isolation and solitude to really understand me because my mental health was suffering. I was trying to get better and these people were essentially making me worse. 6 months ago, you can literally physically see the changes in me. Once I started posting on YouTube, it served as a reflection. It's literally a mirror. You can't hide from yourself. Not only are you getting up on a consistent basis and talking to yourself through a camera or whatever device, you also are going through the whole editing process and you really can't escape yourself. You cannot hide. And so at that point, it became very apparent to me. All of the changes became very apparent to me because most of the things, you gain weight, you gain 1 pound a month, and after 4 years, what does that look like, right? So it really started as a reflection, just me having to face myself face on. And I didn't like what I saw. I definitely felt like I looked like what I've been through and I needed to change some things. I could see that on camera. So I would be watching back sometimes and I'm like, why did I look like that? Like, what was going on with me that day? So as much as I'm showing up on camera, I can read through myself. And when I did the math, it was just like, oh, because this person and that person or whatever it was, whatever the circumstance was. So I for sure had to just completely pull myself away. And that transition was not drama free. So I also had to work through that. And then it is true what they say. Don't tell people about your channel. Don't. Like, if you build it, they will come. Like, who's for you, what's for you, will never miss you. Because when you do that, they don't care. They don't care. People don't care. And if you didn't think that they didn't care before, you definitely know that they don't care now because they're not showing up for you. A couple weeks, months ago that I decided to share my channel to my extended family, and I got a lot of negative backlash. So that's where the reflection and the motivation come into play. I was still able to show up here because it was just something, anything to do. Not having your regular schedule outside of your routine and just having this stress on your mental health. Really out of the sense of like, I have nothing to lose. Like at that point, I cared about nothing and no one, not even myself. So it was just like something to do because I opened my eyes today and what else is there? So it wasn't really like I'm gonna make it after all. And it was really just like, who cares? Like, as much as I didn't care, I was still here. So I had something to look forward to at that point. So I was like, okay, what can we do? What's the next video concept we're gonna come up with? Okay, start pulling the items, putting stuff together. And so YouTube became a very strong motivating factor on a daily basis. It gave me a reason to show up for myself and show up for other people. And then I just started to create content on a consistent basis. And then I started to develop a sense of joy from it, regardless of how many people watched, how many people subscribed. I love that for me. A sense of community, a sense of belonging. Here, as opposed to in real life, I am actually engaging with people on a regular basis. And it feels like a safe space. One, because we're on the internet, but two, because the people who have showed up for me actually want to be here versus me being in your life because of blood ties. So that started to feel very welcoming to me to show up on this platform. But not only that, but to also extend myself to other people, other channels on the platform as well. Small channels, big channels. I just love to show up and cheer people on. So you might see me in people's comments, on people's lives, time to time. And that's just me really just connecting with like-minded people and expressing myself in a way that feels safe, but also just spreading love and applying the same energy that I seek from other people, which is why I also love the opportunity to be able to have a giveaway. Most recently, I did a giveaway on my channel, and it was just an opportunity for me to make someone feel just a little bit extra special this time of year. As I mentioned, I'm completely estranged from my entire family, and December is my birth month. We're heading into my birth week, and for the most part, for the better part of a decade, it's been, I don't really have other people celebrating me. I could not remember who outside of Sephora has given me a birthday gift in however long. And so the fact that I'm able to show up for other people and extend that much, I don't know your situation, I don't know your circumstances, but I felt led to do so and I was obedient. And so I love having the opportunity to do that. I can be very giving, very kind to a fault in my real life, but that felt very genuine and heartwarming. So again, building a space, building a community where people are showing up because they want to. And so I really want to thank each and every one of you, all 495 of my subscribers, for just choosing me. You didn't have to, but you wanted to. And I love you and I appreciate you for that to the fullest extent. YouTube has also given me the opportunity to feel extremely confident in myself and just fully assess myself, kind of do a life and self-care checklist in terms of how I want to pour into myself and what are the next steps. Especially since most recently, come to find out, I am unemployed. So I was already on leave, but also simultaneously, my entire sector experienced layoffs. So I live in Canada, and so across the province of Ontario, there have been massive layoffs in my sector. As a result, my entire program was cut. I work in the social service sector. I work serving youth, coincidentally, in unemployment. And with the government, these type of things, funding operates in trends. So I guess it's not trendy anymore. And as a result, I have no job. So I took a moment to be in my feels, and in the midst of all of that, I still wasn't as down as I could have been. And I think YouTube played a huge role in that because, again, it still gave me something to look forward to. It was still something to do, and it was still something that planted a seed of hope. So although I have less than 500 subscribers, it still feels like there's something. It still feels like there's something to work toward, and anything is possible. And then I have ownership in this space where my dreams are my own, and I'm really not committing to building somebody else's dream. This is just all for me, and whatever I put in is the return I get. So there's a lot of pressure on that end as well, but it just seems a lot more fruitful, and the harvest is my own. And however I choose to spread the love from the fruits of my labor. So I love that for me. I feel prepared more than ever now to just really make plans about where I see myself in the next year, 3 years, 5 years. Whereas if I didn't have this platform as an outlet, as a creative outlet and a sense of connection, I would probably be a lot more behind in my healing journey. But this has put me on the fast track to what feels like success. So even in the very moment where I found out and accepted that I no longer had a job, 20 plus years in, sometimes holding 3 jobs at a time as a married, single, teenage mom, all the things. In that moment where I felt like I wanted to feel down, I couldn't even offer myself that much because people are reaching out in ways that I wouldn't have imagined even at this very early stage of my YouTubing. So here's to 2025. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
T.O. Let me see your hands.